Hey everybody, and welcome to a brand new Let's Play video of Zoo Tycoon. Today it is the Marine Mania scenario, and it's an advanced scenario, and it's called Save the Zoo. It says, unless you can revitalise this zoo in a short period of time, it is going to be destroyed by greedy landowners. In addition to repairing the damaged terrain and making the animals that currently dwell there comfortable, you must prove that the zoo is dedicated to opening new and improved exhibits. To that end, you are challenged to add an aquatic area with healthy marine animals. We have 24 months, or 2 years, to improve the exhibit suitability rating of the initial animals to 90, that should be nice and simple. Achieve an average animal happiness rating of 90 for the initial animals in the zoo. Earn an exhibit suitability rating of at least 90 for 9 exhibits. Average guest happiness of 85. Total profit of 750 for all orca shows, 1 crustacean house, 1 tropical aquarium, 1 aquatic gift shop, 1 lobbies restaurant and 1 aquatic restroom. So we've got quite a lot of objectives and we only have 2 years to do them. But saying that, this could basically be narrowed down or simplified to suitability rating of 90 for 9 exhibits, including some animals that we already have. Guest happiness of 85, animal happiness of 90, and $750 for orca shows, and then build some buildings that we would probably build anyway. The exception being the aquatic restroom. I never normally bother building restrooms because the toilet requirements for guests is generally satisfied by restaurants anyway. But 1 lobbies restaurant, 1 aquatic gift shop, 1 tropical aquarium, or 1 crustacean house, I would build them anyway. So, right, well, with the game paused, we can see straight away that we've been given a fairly large map, certainly big enough for 9 exhibits, and a basic zoo that is, quite honestly, a disaster. Our objective states that we must make at least $750 profit for orca shows, and yet we've been given a dolphin show. All of these exhibits have filters, but all the filters are broken down. We have 1 zookeeper and 1 marine specialist, who confusingly is called Marine Specialist 4. All these exhibits are filthy and or just, broken down. The terrain and foliage requirements are massively unsuitable. I mean, there's a polar bear here with 0 exhibit suitability rating because it's just covered in, concrete and gravel and salt water. To be quite honest, there are 2 ways of playing this. You can either actually try and fix this, or you can just do what I'm going to do, which is destroy the whole thing, because it's honestly a mess. So, we start with $75,000, which is actually a lot, and destroying everything would net us an extra $70,196. So, once we actually get rid of every single thing on the map, which does take a while, we have $147,000 to play with. And I'm also actually going to level up some terrain, which is going to cost a few $1,000s, but that's no big deal. Yeah, actually that's quite expensive. That $23,500. I can afford it, yes, but I'm just wondering whether or not I should do it. I feel like if I don't do it, it's going to be more of a nuisance, to be honest. And the fact that I start with so much money anyway, I can basically afford to do it, so... yeah. So... that should be good to go. Right. So yeah, I start with $123,500. We're actually going to save the game as Save the Zoo. Right. So first thing I'm going to do is make the admission price for guests $29. I don't know why this zoo is called Discount Menagerie. Not entirely sure what menagerie even means, but I'm assuming it's a valid word. But yeah, so the first thing I'm going to do is, as I just said, increase it to $29 for guests, and and build a bit of a path out here. So if we actually look at the animals that we've been given, there are currently no guests in the zoo. For sake of convenience, I'm going to move the Marine Specialist and the Zookeeper so that they are over here, just so I don't know roughly where they are. Although saying that, they might actually end up need moving anyway. Right, so we've got 13 animals. We've got 2 belugas, 2 Bengal tigers, 2 bottlenose dolphins, so that's 3 different species right there. 2 jellyfish, so that's 4 species. Polar bear, 5. And 4 short-fin Mako sharks, that's 6 different species for 6 exhibits. So basically, all we actually have to do is just make sure that all these animals are in suitable exhibits with an exhibit suitability rating of at least 90 and an animal happiness of 90, which is easy enough. We need a guest happiness of 85, and we need $750 for orca shows, and we need an exhibit suitability rating of at least 90 for 9 exhibits. So, yeah, we basically just have to build suitability rating of 90 for these animals, and then 3 other exhibits, one of which has to be orcas, and then we also have to build an orca show. And if you've watched my Aquatic Show Park Intermediate Marine Mania scenario, you will know that guest happiness suffers massively, and profits actually suffer when you've got marine shows. Nevertheless, I don't think this is actually going to be too difficult, to be honest, because we've got $121,000 to basically just, as I say, build some exhibits. I'm going to have to unpause the game and then wait for these guys to say that they've escaped, and then it'll allow me to put them in crates. Yeah, there you go. So obviously the zoo rating and everything is now 0, guest happiness is 0, which is just as well because we don't have any guests. But yeah, so we now actually have all the animals in crates, which is really good. And we can basically just build the zoo exactly how we want it to be. And we've got 2 years to do everything. So it shouldn't be that difficult, really. I think we're actually going to start with the Bengal tigers. And I'm going to need to move everything out of the way, like these sharks. We're going to need Zoo Tycoon, and we're going to need... Annoyingly, I don't have my guide on me, so I don't know how big to make these exhibits, but I think for Bengal tigers you can get away with an 8x10 exhibit. For 2 Bengal tigers, I think that's big enough. So this is Bengal tiger exhibit. And we're also going to need a bit of path. I'm actually going to unpause the game. Although saying that, I don't really want the guests to be coming in straight away, but I suppose if some guests appear right now, it's not the end of the world. Although I don't think we will get any because the zoo rating is literally 3. So, like I said, I don't think this is going to be too difficult a scenario. The main difficulty, I think, will actually be keeping the guest happiness sufficiently high up. Well, it only needs to be 85, but that might be quite challenging because of the requirement to have the orca show. But saying that, orcas are actually a good choice for a show animal. More so than, like, say, a sea lion or a sea otter. Because they can actually do quite a lot of tricks. And we only need 1 show, so it might not be too bad in the end. Alright, that is 87 suitability. We're going to need a lot more foliage. We'll also need a shelter. Just go with the wood shelter for now, because we don't have the rock cave researched. Alright, that is 91 suitability. We can get a bit more with more foliage. Probably do the Zoo Tycoon animals first, and then the Marine Mania animals later on. I don't know why, I just kind of think the Zoo Tycoon might be cheaper and easier. We do actually want 99 suitability because we want the $15,000 bonus. Right, there you go. That is... save the game again. That's 99 suitability. That is perfectly fine. Right, we're starting to get some guests in. So, next up we can do the polar bear exhibit. We've only actually got the one polar bear, and obviously because our zoo rating and animal happiness is so low, we can't actually adopt any animals anyway. But for the polar bear, we can get away with probably like a 5x10 exhibit. Probably actually get away with like a 4x10, but let's just go 5x10 because that will definitely be big enough. And also it'll be, you know, pretty cheap. Right, this zookeeper can be assigned to these two exhibits. We're going to need some snow, obviously. It's a polar bear. And salt water. And a couple of snowy rocks. Not that many snowy rocks. And no foliage and a shelter, which will be the large wooden shelter, and then that should be fine. Right, that's 97 suitability. He's saying there's too many rocks. There clearly aren't. You can have an icy keg, and I would put in an ice float if I could make some room. No, I don't want to do that. Yes, I do want to do that. And I'm going to need one more rock. Nope, apparently not. Alright. That's still 97 suitability, but I like having the toys in the exhibit, so that's fine. Alright, with regards to research, we're not going to need to research... well, we're going to need staff education and animal care. We're not going to need Zoo Tycoon anything there. We're not going to need aquatic animals or aquatic foliage, but we are going to need aquatic houses for the crustacean house and the tropical aquarium. We're not going to need any tricks besides orca tricks, which we don't actually need right now. Aquatic animal care and marine specialist training we can get, though. We are actually going to need a maintenance worker. We don't need a tour guide, and we've already got one zookeeper and one marine specialist, so that's fine. Technically, the marine specialist is actually not needed at the moment. We're paying for something that is like a future investment. When I start building up the marine exhibits. We are going to need the compost building, though. So let's put that over in the corner. And we're also going to need the restaurant, which I've just built. So that can be $17. What the hell is he running over to? Service tank filter. We don't have any tank filters, do we? I would have thought we... Ooh. I think he's a bit broken. I think he's servicing tank filters that we don't have, and he's going to a trash can that we don't have. His AI is messed up. He seems to be trying to service the tank filters and the trash cans of things that used to be there, but we've now since gotten rid of. Anyway, the objective required that we have one aquatic gift shop, so we might as well build that. And I've just realised actually we should have built a lobbies restaurant, not a restaurant. But oh well, we can build the lobbies restaurant later on. Yeah, so we'll end up having a restaurant and a lobbies restaurant. That's no big deal. Right, the aquatic gift shop, that can be $10. Do some path all around these. Oops. And we're going to need the low hedge fencing. I don't know if this is necessarily the best fencing, but I like the look of it, so I always just use it. But I'm wondering if maybe like one of the Marine Mania decorative fencings would be more appropriate. but I've always used the low hedge fencing, so that's just what I'm going to use. At the end of the day, I don't think it really matters too much. It probably doesn't make much difference to guest happiness anyway. I just think it makes the zoo look nice. And I have no idea how that got there. Right, so next up we have... okay, I think that's it for the Zoo Tycoon animals. We can build some beluga though. And obviously I have no idea how big to make their exhibit, because I don't have my guide on me at the moment. Anyway, that is 10 by 8, which I think should be big enough for 2 little belugas. And we are actually going to need the tank filter, which is why I've got a maintenance worker. Right, so this is beluga tank. And hopefully that is plenty big enough, which it is. Yep, that's no problem. Belugas are not happy. Yep, I'm not really surprised. They need kelp and rocks. So they're not happy at the moment, but they will be happier later on. Or they will become happy, like, once they adapt to their new exhibit, which is obviously a lot better than their old exhibit would have been. Right, so the marine specialist, who we already had, can be assigned to that beluga tank. That was actually very easy to make. The dolphins, they can go in their tank over here, which we can make as 8 by 10, and that should be plenty big enough. So this will be dolphin tank, and we don't need a dolphin show, thankfully enough. So I think we've just got the 2 dolphins. Yeah. And dolphins, probably fairly similar exhibit to the belugas. A couple of rocks and a bit of kelp. And just check the suitability. That's 93 suitability. The tank is too shallow. The dolphins would like a mate, although we do actually have 1 male and 1 female, so hopefully they mate up anyway. So, not really sure what that's about. They want more animals of the same type, but we can't actually do anything about that. That's 97 suitability, and that's 96 suitability. Yeah, it's the dolphin's saying he wants a mate, but we've already got a male and a female, so really they should be mating up, but I can't force them to mate, unfortunately. If they don't want to mate, they don't want to mate, but not really much I can do about that, I'm afraid. Alright, where is my marine specialist? There he is. Or she, I don't know actually. But he can be assigned, or they can be assigned to the belugas and the dolphins. And already straight away we have baby Bengal tigers. So I have said before that Bengal tigers breed like rabbits in this game. And yeah, we've already got 2 baby Bengal tigers. Handily, 1 is male and 1 is female, so we can keep both of those when they grow up into adulthood. Right, now, we're going to need a... Well, we can put down the animal theatre and the carousel. Put down the animal theatre like that. Carousel doesn't fit like that, but it will do if I do something like this. Actually, I can just put the carousel down there. Yeah, that works. So $7 for the animal theatre, $6 for the carousel, and we're going to need a lot of path. Actually, don't hide the buildings. Right, and then change the colours up on this. There you go. And then we've got a bit of leftover tiles with which we can put down some fountains. So we can put down an elephant fountain, or we could actually put down some Marine Mania stuff. Fortunately, there's nothing that's Marine Mania that takes up 3 tiles, which is a bit annoying. So we can put down an elephant fountain, and we can also put down a snake pit and a well, we can put the dolphin statue down next to the dolphin exhibit and the deep sea diver statue. That looks nice, and surround the whole thing with low hedge fencing. Okay, so with the animals that actually are in exhibits, the Bengal tigers are happy, the polar bear is happy, the beluga are now happy, although they want more animals of the same type. The dolphins are happy, but they're still complaining that they want a mate, which I do not understand. I don't understand why they're saying that they want a mate when we already have a male and a female tag in the exhibit. But anyway, yeah, people are using the animal theatre, people are using the carousel. We also can get the elephant ride. Put that down there. Charge $5 for it. Change up the colours. And put up a bit of path around. And a bit more path around here. And then we can put a bit of scenery over here. Again, I've got the sort of 3x3 area, so we can put down elephant fountain and a sphinx statue, and we can also put an obelisk over here. And then that should look really good. We can put down a map next to the carousel, and we can put some exhibit signs all over the place for the marine animals. Oops. There we go. Right, and save the game. So we used about 2.5 months, and we've already got 4 of the required 9 exhibits. Probably actually start putting some money into researching the aquatic houses. And we may as well start putting some money into, like, researching animal care, staff education and stuff like that. Right, we've got guest happiness of 90, which is really good. Animal happiness is only 66 because we've still got a lot of animals that are just generally unhappy. Right, got 2 jellyfish over here, so we can put an exhibit over here for these jellyfish. I don't know how big to make it. I think 8x8 might actually be big enough for 2 jellyfish. If it isn't, then I'll have to make it bigger, obviously. But it is actually going to need to be very deep. It's big enough, it's just not deep enough. They want clam bed. Oops. Hang on. Right, it needs to be deeper then, doesn't it? And deeper still. Okay, that's deep enough now. So we just need clam bed. They don't actually like that rock, so maybe it's just too many. Yeah, I'm thinking they don't actually need many rocks. Maybe one large rock was just too many rocks or something, I don't know. Saying that, actually, they like these small rocks, so I'm not really sure why one large was too many. Oh, there you go. Sounds like the elephant ride's getting some usage, which is really good to see. And the crustacean house has just become available, so we can build one of those. Right, so he's saying there's too many rocks. In actuality, it seems like there are. This is what I don't understand about this game. It seems to be with Marine Mania, where... Well, there could also be Zoo Tycoon. You build the exhibit with a load of rocks. The animal says it's fine. And then you build the foliage, and then they say that there's too many rocks. I don't understand that at all. But... we're going to need another marine specialist. And this guy can be assigned to the jellyfish. And for some reason he's Marine Specialist 6. I don't understand this at all. Right, we've got 107 guests, with the guest happiness of 92. So we've actually satisfied 2 objectives. We can quite easily satisfy a couple more objectives if we built the crustacean house and I could build a Lobby's restaurant, and I could build a restroom. I don't know where I'm going to put this restroom, to be honest. Right, save the game again. We can build the petting zoo and a Japanese garden. Build the Japanese garden over here. Yep. And the petting zoo, that can go over here, I suppose. Oops. There we go. Right, now the aquarium is now available. So I built the petting zoo and I built the Japanese garden. So over here I've got a bit of extra map. Oh, there you go. The animatronic theatre, that does actually fit there. So charge $6 for that. And put some path around that. And then there you go, that's really good. Right, put some low hedge fencing all around here. Sounds like a lot of people are going to the aquarium, which is really good. Right, we've got guest happiness 93, which is actually really, really good. If we get it to 95, we get an extra $25,000 one-time fee for the award bonus for making guests' visits to the zoo memorable. And also at some point I want to increase the admission price from $29 to $49. Probably do that when we've got more exhibits and more more guests in the zoo. And I keep saving the game, I am aware, but it's more of a sort of habit than anything. I think I'm just sort of a bit overly cautious. So actually, we've got 10 people have gone to the crustacean house and 13 to the aquarium, which actually isn't too bad because we only built them this month. So yeah, they're both pretty popular. As expected, the restaurant is making massive profit. The Elephant Ride's making a small profit. Animal Theatre's making good profit. Carousel making good profit. Gift shop making good profit. And the Japanese Garden's actually making, well, not profit, but people are actually going to it. Oops. Accidentally temporarily blocked the entrance. Right, so I'm aware that I have spent a lot of money, but we should also be making reasonable profit, so it shouldn't matter too much. Going to need another marine exhibit, and we've got I think it's just the Mako shark at this point, actually. Yeah. So we've got 4 Mako shark that we need to build an exhibit for. I've just realised actually that we've never built filters for these exhibits. Did I not? No. No, I did not. Okay, no problem. Put a filter there and a filter there. So, yeah, I can build the Mako shark exhibit out here. And it's going to need to be quite big because we've got 4 Mako sharks. But then again, I don't think it has to be absolutely enormous. 8 by... that's 10. I think that's like 8 by 14. That should be big enough. So this is Mako shark tank. It's probably actually too big, but oh well. Right. Right, so we can stop spending money on conservation, which is good, because that'll save us quite a lot of money. Right, where are these Mako shark? They are here. Okay, that's fine. I'm going to need a filter, of course. And these guys... Right, the exhibit is obviously big enough. They want divercate tree coral, and they're also going to need rocks and shelters. And obviously they're going to be moving around a lot because they're really not happy. And divercate tree coral. We don't seem to have that researched. I'm not entirely surprised by that because I think you have to actually spend money to research the Mako shark as it is. So we're just going to go with seaweed because that's sort of nice and cheap, it should do the job just as well. Or, not just as well, but it should do the job perfectly adequately. Right, so that is 94 suitability. This marine specialist is going to need to be assigned to the Mako shark as well. So I'm going to have to move the entrances around. Put the shark... well, put the jellyfish entrance over here, and then put the shark entrance over here, and that way he's only got to move from there to there, which should be dead easy for him. Right, guest happiness 94, that's really good. Probably put a Lobby's restaurant over here, actually. Charge $17 for that. And then we're going to need path. Yeah, the Mako sharks aren't happy, but there's not really much I can do about that right now. Guess now it's just dropped to 91 for some reason, probably because they're going over to see the Mako sharks, and then the Mako sharks are not happy, so the guests become unhappy. Yeah, it's not really much I can do about that, unfortunately. It's just gonna... until the Mako sharks become happy, then the guest happiness will suffer because they go over to see the Mako sharks, who are obviously not very happy, so... unfortunately, there's not really much I can do. Yeah, guest happiness is going to suffer until these sharks become happy. But once animal happiness increases to 90, I should be able to adopt more animals. And then I only need to build an orca exhibit, an orca show, and 2 other exhibits. And keep animal happiness and guest happiness sufficiently high. Saying that, we are basically out of money. We've only got $14,000. Once again, I'm going to save the game. Right, I don't think there's any other buildings I can build that are necessarily going to make profit or are, you know, strictly necessary or recommended, besides just building extra restaurants or things that I already have. I could build like the swim shack, but it's not entirely necessary. I am going to need to build this rest room, which I think I'm going to build just here. Don't really have anywhere to put it, so I'll just put it over here. And just do something like this. Yeah, guest happiness actually dropped down to 85. And I think it's simply because the guests are going over to see the sharks, and the sharks are not happy at all. I'm half tempted to actually make it so that the guests cannot see into this exhibit. I think that would actually help me. I don't normally do that, and it is going to be quite expensive to do. Probably should have done that straight away. Because my guest happiness is really not going to benefit from this at all. It is going to cost me a few $1,000s to do this, but I think this could really help. Because I don't like the fact that these guests are going over to see these sharks, and you know, I can't stop them from going over to see the sharks, especially because the restaurant's right next to it. But they're seeing the sharks, and the sharks are just not happy. And the guest happiness suffering, I think, is actually hurting my profit. Right, has anybody used my toilet yet? No, they haven't. They probably won't, to be fair. Yeah, so obviously I can't help it that some guests have already gone over to see the sharks. I think I can actually make... Yeah. Just by raising the base, I'm just thinking there might have still been a chance that people could see into the exhibit, even with the concrete wall, but I'm pretty sure that now they can't actually see into it. I've just realised actually that we've got a male and a female adult, and a male and 2 male babies. Why is it saying that they last ate a long time ago? Well, they're not actually hungry, so... They are becoming slowly happier, but it is still taking a long time. Right, I guess temperature is still only 81, but I don't think there's really much I can do about that. I can't imagine anyone's actually going to use this rest room. I literally only have it because I have to have it. And unfortunately it cost me $50 a month. But yeah, hopefully once the animal happiness raises up to 90, it's currently at 83, then I can start adopting some animals and, you know, hopefully everything will be fine. I'm actually going to increase the guest admission price to 49. I get the feeling that guests can actually still see these sharks, which really doesn't make any sense, because the guests shouldn't be able to see into this exhibit. That's the whole reason that I built this wall, but I don't know, maybe these thoughts are... Yeah, maybe these are thoughts of guests who've already seen the sharks. I don't know. It's really rather strange, but I don't know. I just hope that the guest happiness does actually improve a bit. It's currently 81, but it only has to be 85 for the scenario. But guest happiness is always a very fickle and annoying thing with this game. I'm also actually going to build low hedge fencing around these buildings. Again, I don't think it makes much of a difference, but it might help a little bit. Whoops. Fuck's sake. Oh, for God's sake. Right. I can also actually build brick wall around places that I know that I'm never going to build into. For like the very edge of the map. Like I can probably build brick wall over here. Because I'm not going to build anything out over here, so... I could build something over here, but I can't think what. So I think just build brick wall for now over here. That bit of path is actually probably quite useless, to be honest. But I can build more low hedge fencing over here. Right, I've been given the emergency donation of $10,000. I didn't actually realise we were that low on money, but right, great job putting these animals in suitable exhibits. Now turn this small zoo into a mixed marine and zoo park. You can now purchase marine animals to exhibit. Right, so we can't actually get any more Zoo Tycoon animals. I mean, we can get a Yeti and Bengal Tiger, but that's more like a bug than anything. But we can adopt basically any marine Mania animals, so we basically need an orca exhibit and 2 other exhibits. Mako sharks are 62 happiness, or 72 happiness. They're slowly becoming more happy. Or they're slowly becoming happy, or happier. But at a very slow rate, so until they actually become happy, I'm going to keep the exhibit fencing like that. Get rid of that tiny little square there. So yeah, we need to build an orca exhibit and an orca show. That's going to be quite expensive. And then we also need to build 2 other marine exhibits. And they can be whatever we want them to be. So we could build a... Well, we're going to need another marine specialist. We can build a marine exhibit over here for anything of our particular choice. I'm thinking let's go with 2 manta rays. That is 8 by 10. That should be big enough for 2 manta rays. So that's manta ray tank. And we're going to need a filter, of course. And we're actually out of money, which is very annoying. Guess happiness is 84. Are these sharks sufficiently happy yet? They're getting there. 85, 85, 85, and 85. Yeah. I could probably actually change some of this up to become visible. I think the sharks are probably actually happy enough that guests wouldn't mind looking at them now. Right, guest happiness is 85, which is actually the minimum requirement that we need for the objective. Unfortunately, we just don't have any money right now. If we look at zoo finances, if we just look at June, for example, we did receive the $10,000 in emergency donation, but if you ignore that, then we still actually made a profit of like about 5,000-ish. Can't quite figure it out on my own, but I think we made about $5,000 for the month of June. Once you factor in things like research, construction, and private donations. Right, polar bear is ill. That's not good. It's also actually occurred to me that if my Zoo Tycoon animals die, I can't adopt extra Zoo Tycoon animals, so this polar bear is the only polar bear I'm actually going to have in the zoo ever, which is quite a shame. Why is the zookeeper having trouble getting to polar bear? Is it because he's just gone into a shelter? Because if so, that's really quite stupid. Right, the polar bear is now healed. Actually, we're researching tour guide training, but zookeeper training is satisfied. Marine specialist training is satisfied. Maintenance worker. We do need maintenance worker 2 and 3 training. So basically, once. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just thinking, are we spending money on something that we don't really need? And yes, we are by researching tour guide training, but I can live with that. Okay, I think these sharks are probably actually happy now. So I can spend a lot of money, unfortunately, on changing the exhibit fencing back to become visible. Yeah, the sharks are happy, that's good. Right, what we're researching now. Animal fertility. That it's not strictly necessary because it will only actually help the Bengal tigers. So let's not research that right now. We don't need marine specialist training 2. Maintenance worker training 2 we do actually want, so let's do that. these Bengal tigers, actually, we're going to need to sell off 1 and 2. Are the dolphins... The dolphins are still saying they want a mate, which I really do not understand. Why these guys haven't just mated up, I don't know. I'm thinking I could actually sell them off and then get a new male and a new female. That might work, but at the same time they've already got 100 happiness, so they can't be that much of a problem. I think that's more of a bug than anything. They're both saying they want a mate, but they refuse to mate up. Yeah, that's just Marine Specialist being stupid. Alright, guess happiness is 87. As I expected, nobody has used this restroom, so I'm paying $50 a month for something that nobody's going to use, purely because the game is telling me that I need a restroom. As expected, the Lobby's restaurant is making big profit. The animal houses are actually reasonably popular, and guest happiness is now 88. Right, let's save the game. Let's see if we can't build a manta ray exhibit on. This Marine Specialist is currently unassigned, so he's basically just looking after all the marine exhibits, which is fine, I suppose. Alright, let's get the manta rays going. So manta rays wants fire coral, which we do have. It is actually slightly more expensive as a foliage because it costs 150, but that's not a problem. Okay, these manta rays now have an exhibit suitability rating of 99. And this guy needs to be assigned to the manta rays. So, right, we've got 7 exhibits, so we need 1 more, and then the orca exhibit, and then the orca show. Weirdly, there's actually no zoo rating objective. No, there's no zoo rating objective. But I suppose with only 9 exhibits, the zoo rating isn't going to be that high anyway, so it would basically just be like zoo rating of 85 as a requirement. Because reaching a zoo rating of 90 would be quite difficult with only 9 exhibits. Bengal Tiger 4 has given birth. Handily, it's a male and a female, so basically when they grow up, we can keep them and get rid of 3 and 4. Okay, so if we build sufficiently small, we could, well actually I don't think we really need to build sufficiently small, but we could build a small little marine exhibit over here, and then we build another marine exhibit for the orcas over here, and then the show tank can go over here, and then everything should be fine. The only problem is that I am low on money, but we still have like almost a year and a half left to do everything. So we should be fine. As for what I want to build for the other marine exhibit, I haven't actually decided yet. I could cheap out and go with tuna, or I could build something like swordfish, which is, you know, pretty standard. Yeah, that might be more interesting, because I think even though tuna is very cheap, it's probably not actually that popular with guests. Whereas something like a swordfish is probably actually quite popular. but it's probably actually still quite cheap to build and to maintain, etc. Guest happiness is back up to 90. Like I said, if I can get it up to 95, I'll be very happy. We haven't actually got many awards, annoyingly. I suppose there's not really any awards that we can really get. Because we're not going to get 90 zoo rating, we're not going to get... no, we're not really going to get much in the way of award money besides what we've already got. Unless we can get 95 guest happiness. I'm going to build swordfish. And hopefully 5 by 10 is actually big enough for 2 swordfish. It is actually 5 by 9 even. I'm going to build 5 by 12, which is 60 squares, and that should be big enough. Hopefully. Why is that? Oh, there we go. I was thinking, why is that not a completed exhibit tank? But it is now. Alright. Actually, I can put these right next to each other, can't I? Like that. There we go. So, yeah, I'm going to need a male and a female swordfish. Tank is too shallow, but it is actually big enough. And I've basically run out of money now. Yeah, the tank is still too shallow. The swordfish want red gorgonian, and they're also obviously going to want some rocks. Should do for rocks for now. Unfortunately, it's almost September, so I'm going to have to pay a lot of money in like upkeep and stuff, so I'm probably going to actually go into negative money. Oops! Oh well, we should be fine. They actually already have 96 suitability anyway, so with not much effort. Right, the marine specialist needs to be assigned to these guys. Oops. And then all I need to do now is essentially just build the orca exhibit, which will need to be I think it's... is it 18 by 10? Or 16 by 10? I think it's 18 by 10 for 2 orcas. Because we're going to want at least 1 male and 1 female orca, so I'm going to save the game. Yeah, the zoo has no money. We've gone into minus money. We've got minus $3,000. Oh well. So, yeah, like I said, all we need to do now is just build an orca exhibit for a male orca and a female orca adults, and then build a show tank, and then get $750 profit. Then once we actually get the profit, we can probably actually cancel the show if it hurts the guest happiness too much. If it doesn't hurt the guest happiness, then we could actually keep the show running infrequently. And that way it shouldn't hurt the guest happiness too badly. And I think I did actually just save the game anyway, but I'm going to save it again, just to be safe. Guest happiness is actually 92. One person has used my restroom. One person last month used my restroom. Wow. I don't know what's more impressive, the fact that actually one person decided to use it, or the fact that in 4 months only one person has used it. I don't know if that's more impressive or not. Like, to be quite honest, if you look at that, it looks absolutely revolting. It looks like it's sort of scummy and grubby. Like, I would not go in there. The base game Zoo Tycoon restroom actually looks, you know, pretty normal. Especially if you get the fancy restroom, which I can't find. But there it is. But that marine aquatic restroom, that looks like you go in there, you're gonna have a bad time. It looks filthy. Alright, guest happiness is now 93. I really want to get it to 95 because then I can get the $25,000 bonus, which will help me out a lot. I can probably actually help it a bit by putting down some scenery and, you know, exhibit signs, stuff like that. I'll put down the brick wall actually as well, that would help, because I'm not going to build out this way. And put some scenery down over here. Annoyingly, I'm very low on money. Excuse me. Put down a map over here as well, just in case people have come over here and gotten lost. I don't think it actually makes much of a difference, but I wonder this every scenario, pretty much. Guests seem to be very happy with your zoo, but unfortunately they don't want to get to 95 guest happiness. Your zoo is running low on money. Yeah, you don't have to tell me that twice. I already know. It's very annoying. Right, that'll do for scenery for now. Yeah, I'm just trying to do the best I can with the fact that I've got basically no money, so I'm just building extremely slowly at this point. When money comes in, then I can spend it on the scenery. But yeah, so we have a year and 3 months left, and I need to build the Orca tank and an Orca show tank, and then get $750 profit from the Orca show, and then that's basically it. Just make sure that the guest happiness stays above 85. Right, so we've researched everything. Could probably start researching Orca trick. Well, actually no, don't start researching Orca tricks until we actually build the Orca show tank and the show starts running. We don't need marine specialist training, because I don't think it's worth getting it. You spend money to research marine specialist training, which then means that it becomes cheaper to research show tricks. Like, in the long run, if you've got lots of shows and you need lots of tricks, it probably is actually worth doing, but because we only need one Orca show, it's probably not actually worth doing. Animal care we can do, even if it'll only help the Bengal tigers, who breed like rabbits anyway. There's nothing else, because we don't need animal enrichment or animal shelters, and we don't need any conservation. So it's debatable if we even need that animal for fertility, but we could get it anyway, I suppose. You know what, actually, I'm not going to get it. I'm not going to get it. I don't need it. I will save the game, though. I will actually look at these exhibits because I want to make sure... These tigers are fine. Polar bear, I can't tell if it's eating or sleeping or just sort of resting. It does have 100 happiness, so that's good. I think it was just resting, sort of. It wasn't actually sleeping, but... Is he going to go for a swim, or is he going to go into his shelter? No, he's going for a swim. And he also decided to create a poo at the same time. Right, guest happiness is 94. If it would just push over to 95, I'd be sorted. But it refuses to do so because these guests are extremely annoying. Yeah, I can probably put down some brick wall over here as well. Just to make it clear that this is the boundary of the zoo. And also put down some scenery while I'm at it. Yeah, seriously, if the guest happiness hit 95 and I get the $25,000, then that's probably actually enough to build the Orca tank. Maybe not with the show tank, but it's certainly going to help me out a lot. But it just stays at 94 forever, that's just so annoying. Yeah, just build some scenery and just make the zoo look a bit nicer. I don't think there's any buildings that I can really build that are necessary, because I don't think I actually need another restaurant. I could build one, yes, but I don't think it's strictly necessary. Well, maybe. I don't know. I still feel like I could have built something over here, but I don't know what. Ooh, gonna need another maintenance worker. Because filters are looking a bit run down. Yeah, these filters are not being serviced. I suppose one maintenance worker would have been quite a lot. What the hell are you doing over here? No wonder these filters aren't being serviced. Because the bloody maintenance workers aren't doing their job correctly. They still get paid whether they do the job or not. Yeah, if I could just get 95 guest happiness, that would make my life a lot easier. Fortunately, that's not forthcoming. Anyway. Have these Bengal tigers grown up yet? No, they haven't. Ooh! We've actually managed to get 2 baby jellyfish, both female. So when they grow up, they can be sold off. The Mako sharks are fine. Did get a baby swordfish, which is nice. Guess happiness is just not forthcoming for some stupid reason. I think I'm going to build a rainforest restaurant over here. And that might actually increase guest happiness a tiny bit and just push it over the requirement of 95. And also, if nothing else, it might make me a bit of money. So now we've got the Rainforest Restaurant, the Lobbies Restaurant, and the Restaurant. Also, actually, I'm going to look at profit. So if we look at October, yeah, if you look at October, we actually made about $12,000 in profit, which for a small zoo like ours is actually really, really good. Okay, I guess happiness just dropped to 93, but it's back up to 94. It must be like 93 and a half. But obviously I'll need it to be 95. I mean, I could build another Japanese garden over here or something. That might help. Yeah. And then I'm going to have to build the Orca show over here. It's not ideal, but should still work. I might end up having to delete some of this. Nobody's actually gone to the restaurant yet, which I find a bit peculiar. I didn't block off the entrance, did I? No, I'm pretty sure I didn't. No, that should be fine. Could it be that it's too expensive, maybe? Or maybe people just aren't hungry, I don't know. That's rather weird. Normally people just use the restaurants all the time. Right, people have gone to this Japanese garden now, finally. Not really sure what to make of that. Was this restaurant a waste of money, maybe? I don't know. I definitely didn't block off the entrance. It's just really weird that nobody's actually gone to it. I can only assume that we just don't have enough guests that are hungry that need to go to a restaurant. Because we already have the restaurant and the Lobbies restaurant. But the only reason I built this was to satisfy guests' requirements and hopefully get the guest happiness up to 95. Which is not actually happening, so... Did that guest just sort of... I assume that the guest put a coin in the fountain, but it looked like they sort of bent down and Right, finally! $25,000 for guest happiness 95, and then immediately it drops down to 94. But yeah, I think what happened was the guest sort of went to the fountain and dropped a coin in there, but it looked like they sort of bent down as if they were worshipping the fountain, which I find rather humorous. Right, let's save the game. Now we don't care about guest happiness other than to say that it needs to be above 85 for the objective. But with the $25,000 that we've just been given, that should be enough to at least build the Orca exhibit, even if it won't necessarily be enough to build the show tank as well. Right, that's 10 squares there. And I think it needs to be 18 squares. So that's 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Yeah, that's pretty big. Right, Orca tank. And just excuse me for 1 second, I need to put the light on, for it is very, very dark where I am. Right. I literally could not see because it is very dark. Okay, so Orca tank. With the game still paused, I can build this up, no problem. Right. Okay, I'm going to need another... That's worrying.